Yo, what is up, guys? Kerbal Space Program 2 finally out, and oh my god, the bugs are nuts. So this is actually early release, so it is what it is, but it's been so long that you would think that some of these bugs wouldn't be an issue, but they are. But you know what? It's alright. I'm still so addicted to this game. I love it so much. I'm not sure if we see any of the bugs in this mission itself, because I tried so long to get it to go, and so many times I had to restart. Maybe in the next video I will kind of leave some of those in there so you know what I'm talking about. I also wasn't sure on how this was going to run, because this game is a resource monster. Like, just absolutely all of the resources you could possibly have. Like, they recommend like a 30-60 just to play it, and for like minimum, and not like recommended. Like, recommended is like a 4060 GTI or something like that graphics card. But it is what it is. I think it turned out decently. This is going to be like a voiceover video, because this is one of those games where it frustrates me so bad that I can't focus on playing the game as and commentating. But so we're just going to record it, and then I'm going to talk over it. I don't know if all of the videos in this series are going to be that same way, but I kind of like the style, so we'll see how it goes. Right now, I'm just kind of making the space shuttle. Our mission is just to go to the Mun. I don't know if I said that. Probably not, but we're just going to the Mun, getting all of the lights. This is the command pod here. All of the solar panels, everything up to speed on that. And then, hopefully, we go to the Mun. And spoiler alert, we do. And it actually wasn't too bad this run. A lot of things worked out for us, surprisingly. But I mean, if you've watched any Kerbal Space Program 2, you know the bugs are just absolutely atrocious and just amazing in this game all at the same time. Okay, at this point, I'm just gonna speed this up to 5 times speed, kind of get through this a little bit quicker. We've got the lights on there, we've got the solar panels on there. I'm trying to get it so where the lights aren't covering up any of the windows, but that looks pretty decent. What I had there. I threw a battery in the inside that main little inside that cargo bay area right there, as well as a reaction stabilizer, which I put right there, as you can see. Under that, I'm putting a, well, I got to get these landing legs on, and there wasn't really any way to do it. I figured this on the sides of the cargo bay looked the best, so that's what I went with. Just 2 on each side, I think. And then under that, I'm gonna put I believe a Methalox fuel tank, as well as a Methalox booster. I did try to mess with hydrogen a little bit, but I wasn't getting really what I wanted. So under there, I do the Methalox, and then I leave that for the last stage. And then for the main stage, I did do hydrogen, and it worked actually very, very well. And then I just use my solid state boosters to get out of the actual atmosphere. Right here, just putting together the hydrogen. I mean, that engine is huge compared to the fuel tanks. So I was trying to mess around, see what it looked like, and nothing really looked great. So I just went with the giant one. I know we're only going to the Mun, but you know, I'd rather have more fuel than run out of fuel and just be thrown into space, right? We're gonna go ahead and attach these solid state boosters. I don't think I put nose cones on the top. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. I mean, it didn't matter, but there's just so many bugs right now that it doesn't matter. It does not matter if you have a rocket that should not have any issues at all. It's gonna have issues. That's just what it is. And even this trip planner, the trip planner says we can get to the Mun no problem. So we are gonna do that. We go ahead and save it. That's another key in this game. Save literally every 30 seconds before something bad happens. Because something bad will happen, and if you don't have a save before something bad happened, well, you get to go back to the launch pad or back to the VAB and try to recreate this rocket. I'm going to go ahead up and time warp through the night and get some sunlight. Looking pretty good. Also, I want you to check out the names of the Kerbals we got up in the top right. I don't really remember the two first ones, but I remember Chadson. Again, if you don't know this, I can't render the video, so I'm just kind of talking while the video's playing. Now, with all the bugs that this game has, the sound design, oh my god, dude, it is just, it's amazing. But yeah, we got Chadson up in the up in the rocket with us, and that's my boy, that's my homie now. So there we go. So we're just pushing this up. We're gonna try to get out of this first layer of atmosphere, and then we're gonna go ahead and prograde and hopefully get into a semi-orbit before we actually use the solid state, before we run out of the solid state fuel. We are about halfway here. It actually goes insanely well. I'm going a little bit more than what the SAS wants on the prograde, but I'm smarter than the game, obviously, so not really. I played the first one. I'm not good at this game. I'm really not, but I you know, had a period where I was fascinated with space. ADHD, you're fascinated with literally everything at one point or the other. So I did play the first one for a little bit, but I didn't really get into it all that much. I do want to continue playing this one because the roadmap that the devs put out for this game just seems amazing, and this game can be so awesome, and I hope it's gonna be. This kind of the launch though, kind of, I mean, it's early access. It's early access, so don't get me wrong. But it kind of reminds me of No Man's Sky, where it was just so hyped up, and then it just was not that great. But now, if you look at No Man's Sky, it's a great game. All right, so we just went ahead and decoupled the first stage, so we no longer have the solid state boosters. Those are falling to the earth, and I'm going to go ahead and set up a maneuver plan here and hopefully get into an actual orbit. And then once we hit that periapsis, we're going to make another maneuver point and try to slingshot ourselves towards the Mun. One of the bugs that is the issue that I've noticed on this is you can't set your autopilot SAS control thing to the maneuver point if you're time warping. So if you hit that little green thing down in the bottom left under the prograde and retrograde, all of that stuff, and you time warp, you will not go towards what you want to go towards. And then so if you don't let the game play before, like let the game play out and let the rocket adjust itself, and then you time warp to that point, you're just gonna throw yourself in whatever direction you were currently facing before you time warped. I'm sure all of these will be fixed. It's just funny. So now we're about 10 seconds away from the burn time. And we're just going to watch that blue line. The yellow line is kind of the planned course of action. If you don't know, the blue line is what we are currently on. And that's another thing I'm not entirely sure, but the planned maneuver isn't always accurate. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a million different effects and causes of that, but I feel like it should be a little bit closer. Like if you see here, I think maybe on this one, we don't even really get close based off of the burn time. And I just keep burning. Just to kind of get it to where I want to get into a nice circular orbit. It's not a huge deal if you know and pay attention, but like, this is so far off. It's like, I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Probably, but And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and set the Mun as target. Once I hit that periapsis, I'm going to set up a maneuver point down right afterwards and try to use Kerbin's gravitational pull and slingshot us out towards the Mun, and hopefully we get a nice interception and get a nice encounter. This game is so pretty, and I fully believe it will be amazing once they actually, you know, get into the, you know, the patches and the updates and all that. I'm so excited. I'm playing this game now, and I'm gonna play it probably pretty hardcore for a while and try to learn everything I can learn. That way, when all these updates do come out, I won't have any problem in trying to remember actually how to get into space and all of that. So, I mean, at this point, I can get into orbit decently well. I know how to do that. I know how to kind of slingshot myself to the Mun. I know how to use the different planets to keep slingshotting myself, you know, into other gravitational pulls and all of that. So I think I'm doing pretty decent. But once I get to where I want to go, there's not really much to do. You know, we go to the Mun and there's not really anything there. And that's not a complaint, that's just facts. That's just real life. You get there, then it's just like, oh, all right, cool. We're gonna go ahead and time warp up to this maneuver point. We are facing towards our target. We are at our periapsis now, and that is the lowest point of orbit, basically. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and burn here. It's not a very long burn. This is another one. I think the maneuver point burning didn't quite make it to where I wanted it to go. So we set this up here. And then I basically time warped closer to the Mun, and then I set up another maneuver point. Now look how far away we are from Kerbin. This is scary, man. Like, we're in space. Like, I know it's a game, but like just thinking about like how this feels in real life, it's got to be kind of scary. Like, there's just nothing, and you just see the Earth floating there. Now our orbit slowed down at the apoapsis enough to that the Mun could actually catch up to us and intercept us, and then change our course of orbit. Once we got into the sphere of influence of the Mun, we will go ahead and retrograde burn into orbit on the Mun. And again, this actually went so well. I don't understand how this game has so many problems, and then sometimes it just doesn't. So I'm gonna mess with this maneuver point for a couple seconds here, trying to get a decent orbit into the Mun. I'm not really worried about the actual like plane of the orbit, you know, based off of Kerbin and all that. I just want to get into an orbit because we're gonna land shortly afterwards. So I think this looks pretty decent here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that autopilot to the maneuver point once again. And there we go. So we got a burn time, start burn in 44 minutes. I do not wait 44 minutes, obviously. I'm gonna go ahead and warp to maneuver. And there's Kerbin again. Looks like a nice blue marble off in the distance. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward. We still got about 20 seconds until this retrograde burn to actually get into Mun's orbit. I'm not sure what I was trying to signal there with my mouse, but was trying to talk and say something. Again, this one, the maneuver plan, not even close to what the orbit actually was. But we are in orbit now in the Mun, and I'm pretty happy with it. And at this point, I'm going to set up another maneuver point at the periapsis and then try to land on the bright side of the Mun. I'm still using the hydrogen. We still have, what, about half? And I actually don't use any of the command fuel at all. And so, I mean, if we wanted to, we could probably get back to Kerbal and off of the Mun, but I'm not sure what I want to do, you know, moving forward. Dark side of the Mun here. And there we go. Now we are on a course to land on the Mun. Looking pretty good. I do have a lot of issues trying to land on the Mun because, again, I still had so much hydrogen fuel. I could have just, you know, decoupled it and put it in the next stage of the command pod, but I didn't really want to just waste all that fuel. So I decided that I was just going to try to land with everything still attached. Go ahead and fast forward this because it does take a long time, and this is actually my first time landing on the Mun, so I didn't know how the gravity works, or how strong it was, how strong it wasn't, how easy it was for the hydrogen booster to actually get out of the, you know, off of the Mun, and it was very, very easy. So it takes me a minute to kind of figure out, you know, how gravity works on the moon. On the Mun, the moon Mun. Right there, there's a bug that we had where the rocket just flips. It just decided, hey, I was pointing, you know, up from the planet, and now I decided that I don't want to. So I'm gonna point whatever way I want to, and that is a bug. That'll be fixed, but that really has gotten me into trouble trying to land at points, because I'll be a lot closer to the surface, and then the rocket will just flip and just be like, nope, crash landing. Yeah. At this point, I'm just trying to slow down enough without actually raising, you know, getting sent back into space like this, basically. I'm just kind of playing around in the gravity, trying to get a decent landing and trying to figure out how it goes. Again, right there, a little bit twitchy to the, you know, to the east, to the west side there, I think. The east side there. And boom. Our first attempt to actually landing did not go so well. So just go ahead, quick load. And then I kind of floated around until I found this little hill here. And I kind of used this hill to give me a nice soft landing, and that's where we're gonna sit. At this point, I wanted to extend the solar panels and the lights and the communication antenna, all that stuff, just to, you know, just to have it ready and out and transmitting and charging the batteries in case I need it and all of that stuff. I don't know if any of that even actually matters at this point in the game, but it looks cool. I like to feel like I'm smart and, like, you know, doing astronaut things. I'm you know, I'm down for it. But I do quickly realize an issue that I have put myself into by landing, you know, with my hydrogen tank here, and my exit door is on the bottom there, right there. That's my exit door, and I can't get out. So basically, yep, as you can see, here it'll say that the exit is blocked, cannot get out. So I'm going to have to go ahead and throttle up very little, a very tiny amount, and hopefully that will push the rocket and the exit door up the mountain far enough to where I have enough space to open the door and actually get out of the rocket. And it actually worked. That was so surprising. I mean, this is the most jank mun landing probably ever, but you know what? We did it. Chadson is on the moon, on the mun, and I'm never gonna get used to saying the mun, I don't think. And look at this dude. He's just chilling. He loves it. We out here. Look at him. He's loving it. I'm loving it. We made it. Maybe next episode of the series we can try and slingshot a little bit further and see where we can end up. But first we need to place a flag. So I'm gonna go up to this little hill here. It's nice, not the tallest peak, but it's up there. Go ahead and tell him to plant the flag. And then some text. I didn't know what to do, so we yeeted to the mun. Bam. Great day. And here I was all like, okay, it's frozen. Game's broken. Don't know what's going on. Of course, I get hit with a bug. At the very end of this, I just want to get the flag planted and then be done with this. I don't know what's going on. I can't control him. Nothing's happening. He's not planting the flag, and spoiler alert, the game was paused. The game was just paused. And boom. We have our flag that's floating along with Chatson. Chatson's also floating. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different. I'm going to keep playing this game. I'll probably keep making videos as well. So hopefully you're here for it. And hopefully we learned a lot. I'm super excited for the updates coming out. Look at his little warp time run. Beautiful. But yeah, I do hope you liked the video. If you liked it, go ahead and consider subscribing. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.